Hello everyone, my name is Miro and thank you for joining me on a day when my hair decides that volume is no longer a thing. There are days when I take my hair out of the bun, it's like just huge volume everywhere. By the way, my hair is like very straight. It's very difficult to do anything with it actually. You can't curl it, tried a million times, wish you could. That's not the point of this video. The point of this video is that we are having a day off, weekend off, and we're just doing plant chores together. I'm inviting you to join me to do plant chores together, relaxing plant chores that are maybe not the priority on your list, but are something that needs to be done and some things that will make your overall space or your inner being feel better / look better if it's the space. And for example, I will be cleaning that philodendron in the back. I will do some repotting. I will do watering. I have a lot of pest treatments to do. I have to finish my cabinet still. Shh. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to, no judgment. Need to finish that too. But all of those top priority chores are not going to be top priority this weekend because I just want to pretend that there is nothing else to do except for some nice and cozy chores. Because I'm a little bit tired of all the chaos that I bring to the channel. So today we're going to try not to do anything too chaotic today and tomorrow. It's going to be, of course, one day for you. You can choose to do any chores you want. You don't have to do chores. You can just sit back, relax, have a cup of tea, cup of coffee, whatever you'd like. But we will be talking about plants and other things. And yeah, I'm recording this intro for the second time because I forgot that my camera, my lens, new lens has like autofocus and manual focus switch, and I turned it to manual. So everything was out of focus. Thank you. I am a master of my own craft. Plenty of things to do, and I will just try to remember everything that I just said in the video. Essentially, number one, I have mealybug outbreak, root mealybug outbreak on the begonias from this cabinet. You see it's mostly empty. We need to do something with that. I am not actually sure if I'm going to put Hoyas in there or in the other one. I have some terrarium plants that go there that are unaffected. For now, they seem unaffected. I might just leave it as is temporarily and do the Hoya cabinet. But essentially what happened is I noticed in a begonia that was on my desk, there is a shelf here too, it was under like a glass jar and it was from the same seller. And this begonia, as soon as I unboxed it, I put it under the glass dome. It did not come into contact with any other plants. I did not repot it. I left it in the original soil. And 6-7 months in, the root mealybugs multiplied on it. When it arrived, it had none, or it appeared to have none, but they multiplied. And really, she could not have come in contact with them here. It didn't come from a Hoya. 100% it came from this person. And then I started to look at some of the begonias here that initially were doing really well, but you know, as the time went by, they started to look less and less good. So I was like, I don't know what's happening, because we went through the summer, which is typically the most challenging part for begonias when it comes to growing season. It's too hot, they tend to melt. But they were doing really well throughout the summer because of the AC in the room, and I just didn't know what was going on. So I started to look at the roots. I was really afraid to, because I wanted to be a root mealybug denier for a moment there, but I had to look eventually at the roots, and yep, some of them were real bad. Interestingly, some of them that had the most root mealybugs didn't look the worst. Some of them that had fewer looked much worse. Don't really know what that is about, but anyway, not a great time with root mealybug here. I removed the potting mix, and essentially what I did wrong, first, I didn't isolate. Number two, I left the original potting mix on the plants because there was nothing visually wrong, and I know better. I really know better, but I did it. I was afraid that begonias will croak if I remove all the potting mix and I put it in my potting mix. I kind of left them in their, ball of soil and put my potting mix around it, and they did eventually grow into that. But yeah, it's very unfortunate because I really should not have done that. Now I removed all the potting mix. I soaked in Confidor, which is for root mealybugs. A lot of orchid growers use it, and then I put some of them in moss, some of them in perlite, what I had on hand, and they are in a prop box in my grow tent in isolation, where they will stay until we don't know when. So we will take a look at that, but I don't want to repurpose this cabinet for anything else, or like, I still want to have one cabinet for terrarium plants and one for Hoya. I'm not just really sure how long these will be in isolation. If it's going to be like 6-7 months, I think we should start to do something with the cabinet in the back. I don't know, I'll think about it. That's number one update. I can't remember what else I was going on about. I have some Hoyas in bloom. I have this, I bought as Hoya Graffiti. It immediately became clear to me this is not Hoya Graffiti. This looks very similar to Hoya Oreogana or Oreogena, I always forget, formerly Revolubilis. And this is often sold as species India, or like visually identical plant, or visually similar, let's say that better. It's sold as species India, but I bought this as Graffiti. Now, I'm not going to say this is species India. I might write affinity Oreogana. I think it's Oreogena actually, but it has nice white flowers. It's not very heavily scented. I do have some photos that should be decentish. And it's a very grassy, it smells almost like some verticillatas, but like the good kind of verticillata, which I actually really like. Then what else do we have in bloom? We have my occultata red, which of course now as the temperatures dropped, she is intensely red. So you shall see that. She's much, much redder than maybe you see on camera. I will try to take some photos, but I'm pretty late here with photos. Some of these flowers, they're like on their last hours. So that's not amazing, but we will try to take some photos. And then we have the yellow occultata, which is not as exciting. Also on its last hour. We have here frogfoot, or Amrita actually, also. We need to talk about this plant a little bit later. And then we have actually something somewhat exciting. It is Hoya discipule. Why did I say it like that? I need to take a photo of this too. So this is in bloom as well. This was supposed to be in my Hoya of the week, but we didn't get to that episode. Anyway, we're going to be doing chores for 2 days here. I wrote a list of like 10 chores. I don't know if we can do all of them, but some of them, you know, we're going to repot that tomatophyllum or philodendron now, bipinnatifidum or bipinifolium. I always forget. I think they're both, but they don't look the same. But anyways, I think a lot of people think this is a fern. I'm not really sure. A lot of people in my previous video and the video before that, they were saying that's a nice looking fern or something similar. And I'm like, what fern? The only fern that I have is on my Hoya wall, but you don't see that, which is now just like a plant wall. So not a fern. Although I would love a fern of that size. Do I need a fern of that size? Yes and yes, those are the two answers. We need to repot that. The atabapoense needs to be repotted as well, but I don't think we can do that today or any day. I'm just not feeling confident for that. We need to also take care of my billitai a bit. He needs some cleaning. He can still go to the shower, so I might take him to the shower, but atabapoense cannot. It's way too big for the shower. You will see I will take him out from that spot. And then we have to water my grow tent, water the MILSBO cabinet, which I think we're going to have to do tomorrow. It's pretty late today. I was going to start this early in the morning, but then my uncle and aunt came, so we couldn't start earlier. And then we need to potentially install a light above my cabinet, above my MILSBO cabinet for my monsteras there, and a couple of aerates that are going to go there. So there are chores to do, but I don't think any of these are too difficult. I don't think anything is going to be way too surprising. We shall see. Let's not find anything that we're not gonna like. I think it's best to start. I will change the angle a little bit. I'm not quite sure how I will change the angle because I really don't know where that philodendron is gonna fit. My hair is starting to fall apart, so I think we will need to abandon All right, so I fixed that kind of ish, kind of not ish. But anyway, no one cares. We're going to move the camera and start with the philodendron. Okay, we have abandoned the hairstyle. So I'm just gonna move some Hoyas from here to I don't know where. I've picked the darkest microfiber cloth so you don't see how filthy the plant is. I don't typically clean my leaves like this. Usually what I do is I will just shower my plant. But again, I really cannot bring him to the shower, not anymore. But he did spend a lot of time, a lot of good days in the shower he spent. But those days are over. Now we need to do things a little bit differently. Can we see anything? Because of the grow tent, you can't really go any further in the back. Also, I feel this is not going to be a great angle for me, but who cares? Like, it's all about the plants, right? So we have this... Oh, stop. Don't fall. I forgot peace lily. It's looking really good. It's growing a couple of new leaves, which makes me really happy. I think this might be one of the newest leaves, actually. Like, hello? Are we okay? That's gorgeous. I actually love this plant, and I finally repotted it to a self-watering pot, which needs to be filled. So we will do that too. And then, this wasn't watered in a long time, by the way. Nothing here. Like, these two don't get, we're talking monthly watering. We're talking monthly. I'm not joking. I'm not joking. They have relatively big pots, and this one now can be watered. It's a bit droopy, but honestly, they're not getting water. I think when I say once a month, I also think I'm being super generous there. I think like maybe it's been more. I don't know. Anyway, we're gonna take care of this one. We're gonna wash this one too. Oh, okay, that's actually a filthy pot. So we're gonna repot this dude. Oh, there are things inside. I forgot that pot was outside. Let me just move you. There's gonna be a lot of me handling the camera. Get used to it. Oh, there's nothing. Okay. For a moment there, I was like, if there is like an animal there, I'm not gonna be able to take it well. No bugs, no lizards. Okay. We will take care of that. All right, so we need to get him out of there so we can actually clean him. There is a heavy rock that's kind of supporting him. Okay, I'm going to remove microphone for myself. I'm gonna put the microphone on my glasses. That's the choice for the microphone, because my shirt is gonna get into this philodendron and I would like to keep talking. Oh gosh, there's spiders. I'm sorry for disturbing your home. Also, I need to look at all the plants around so I don't take anything down with him. Poof, my hair is getting in my way. When I water, some of the extra water goes in the pot below, so it's quite heavy actually, and I do wonder if the reason why this is staying alive is because some of those roots have found their way. You don't see anything. Why didn't you say so? I was wondering if some of those roots found their way below. Okay, so can we see how big this is? He's also nasty. There's like a lot of sticky stuff. But like he is not small. Hi, it's me. It's pretty big. He is pretty big. I grew this from a 2-leaf plant, and this isn't even the full size of it. Like, it's been cut several times. This is the top cutting of the plant, but yeah. Let's actually try to lift him. Interestingly, there are no roots going outside. But I think really the rock is making this heavy. I might do some fresh potting mix on the top. And there is like a moss pole here that's... I mean, we do have some roots. It's basically become part of the plant. I'm inhaling so much dust. This is not good for my health, probably. I mean, for sure, because asthma, asthma team... I'm not really sure what my camera is doing here with the exposure. She seems a little bit confused. So, what we will do, I have like some water here. I'm gonna add alcohol to this. My screen is so far away, I like basically don't see what's happening. Just generous amount of alcohol. And we're gonna start cleaning him. It's super easy, like this is not rocket science. Yeah, it would be really good. So much dust. It would be really, really good if I could find a way to somehow repot him, give him some fresh potting mix, but with the help of me and no one else, that's gonna be impossible. So, okay. Do we still see me? Kind of. I'm sorry, like, this is the angle that you have to deal with. I look so tiny. Oh my gosh, I'm so petite. 2-meter man says he's so petite. This is gonna take a while because I really want to take good care of him. Also, because we've been having mealybugs and thrips and everything, I do want to take a good look at the plant. There's a lot of nectar that this plant is making, so we're gonna clean him off. Let's start from the bottom. It really doesn't fit in the shower anymore. I mean, it may look smaller than it actually is, but it's so wide. So, yeah, he doesn't fit anymore. But it's one of the few philodendrons that I decided to keep because I really love the leaves of this one. I still have my Jerry horn, which you don't see really in the videos, but it is actually in the hallway. And it's not really fitting there either, but, you know, I don't want to get rid of it completely. I don't know, are we doing a good job with dust removal? But I am happy to report that I'm not finding any pests so far. So that's good. Okay, so let's start chatting a little bit here. I have some things to update you on. I don't know if you know this, if I ever mentioned this on the channel, except in the last video, which I, as you know, have not uploaded. I had to cut that footage because of the terrible sound, and honestly I don't even know if this is going to be good sound because it's not going well so far. But I started driving theory classes. I am trying to get my driver's license. I never attempted to get a driver's license. I had this big fear of driving. I mean, I still kind of do. I'm not really looking forward to it. I'm not really looking to be a driver, but I do recognize that, especially like in a town where there's not a lot of public transport, having a driver's license is quite important in case, especially in cases of emergency. And you know, both of my parents are quite old, so, and my sister cannot always be available. So if I need to take them to the doctor, sure, there is a cab and everything, but sometimes the most convenient thing is to drive yourself. So, but also like for me, I mean, I need to be able to drive. So I'm trying to get over that fear. I don't know why. You know, it's not that I don't think I will be capable. I think that I will know how to drive. My issue is other drivers because, I don't know, I think I got convinced at one point that basically everyone will be in a traffic accident at least once in their life, at least a minor one. I don't know where I got that notion, but so many traffic accidents. Mr. Spider, please move. Like, find a new home. I'm not going to remove you, but I will ask you to remove yourself because you do need to clean. Where was I with my story? Yeah, I don't know. A lot of traffic accidents happen, a lot of things that you see, and I guess it contributed to my fear of driving. But yeah, I never attempted, and now we're taking, and of course now, because I could have gotten my driver's license when I was 16, that's the earliest you can get it here in Serbia, and it's not like in the US where I think you can get it a bit earlier. Or maybe even 18 here. I think 16 is in the States. I don't know anymore. When my classmates were going, we didn't have a car that was functioning. So I was like, what's the point of even getting a driver's license? It's not like I'm going to have a car and I'm going to forget how to drive anyway. Sorry for the sound. I need to move my microphone because now my head is in the in the leaves. So yeah. Anyway, I just use that as an excuse. Well, I'm not going to be driving anywhere anyway, so like why even spend the money and the time to get the driver's license? But here we are. And now it is much harder actually to get a driver's license. You need to take 40 hours, 40 classes, right? 41-hour classes of theory and pass the theory test, which has 40 questions, but like they're actually selected from this, not test book, but like questionnaire, like book with all the questions. It's not a book, it's like online. But like there is 1,700 questions in total, and out of those, a computer will pick 40 for you. So there's a lot of things that you need to actually learn. And the questions, the way that they are phrased is, by the time you're finished reading, you forget what you read. Okay, let me adjust the camera a bit. Can you see something? I don't know what I'm doing here, to be quite honest with you. I'm kind of skipping the leaves here and there. So we're bringing it at this point. And I'm gonna water it too. And then in 2025, that's the next watering. Let me try to get a better angle. Is this a better angle? After the driving theory, when I pass that, which I should, because I've been going essentially all November. I mean, all November, it's been like 10 days. But in 2 weeks, I think I should be completely done with the driving theory. Oh my gosh, this leaf is absolutely sexy. Sorry, I'm getting so distracted, but like, let me turn him to you. Look at that. Look at that. Look at him. I grew that. I'm amazing. It's so hot, this leaf. That's second to last. This is the newest one, still developing. After that, you have first aid, which also there is some theory, and then a test, and then driving lessons. So I think by the time, I actually think because of the holidays, I might not be done by the end of February, and then I should be able to take the actual driver's test, which I hear is also very strict. But I think that's necessary. I'm not complaining about that. I'm not complaining even about this theory, but I just think like these situations are not realistic. I mean, I think that theory could have been done differently. I'm skipping really a lot of the leaves here. Oh, Mr. Spider, I'm sorry. I knocked him off. Find sanctuary in a different plant, please. Or he's probably on me at this point, who knows. So, yeah, that has been taking a lot of my time. I go every day for 3 hours. It's basically like school from 9 to noon, and then after that I do have to do some studying for it. Because again, 1,700 questions and you don't know which ones you're gonna get, and they're not necessarily all the easiest. I mean, you get the hang of it, obviously, but it is preparing for a test at the end of the day. So that is taking up some time. My Hungarian lessons still are taking some time, of course. Oh, let's sit down because we are old. So I haven't been able to really dedicate as much time to some of the plant projects, or as much as I would like to. Plus I'm teaching my cousin, my niece actually, sorry, my cousin's daughter. I'm giving her English lessons every Friday. It's been busy. It's been busy. Okay, I think we're done with that section. I think we're done with these ones too. I'm just gonna clean the petioles and then we'll see how we can water this. I'm gonna try to maybe wet that moss ball. I don't know. Yeah, he's a little bit crooked. I really wanted to do something with this philodendron to kind of stabilize him a little bit better, but I never got around to doing that. We're not gonna do it now. We're gonna wait for spring, but I would like to give it some slow release. Let's not mess up that new leaf. Some slow release, I think, would be nice for him. He's so pretty. I'm so proud of him. I'm so proud of you. I really am proud of him. It is not just because he's big, but this plant has so many good qualities. The back of the leaf is such a nice color too, which I don't know if it shows. It's really one of the most beautiful philodendrons in my opinion. I really, really love him. And yeah, he is problem-free, quite compact growth. I plan to move one day and it's gonna be impossible to take him. So I don't know what I'll do. I'll really, really miss him. Maybe I could take like one leaf cutting, but yeah, I'll see. I think I will gift him. I'm not going to sell him. I'm going to gift him. He's gonna go either to my friend who I bought this with or to someone, but like we're gonna find a way. We're gonna find him a home, but I'm gonna, of course, take as good care of him as I can now. I mean, I'm basically taking any care of him, to be quite honest. I'm not gonna clean the new leaf yet. We're gonna wait for that to harden off, but the rest of them are fair game. I'm actually surprised not to see a single mealybug on him or thrips or anything. That's a good boy. We love good boys. Okay, I think I've cleaned him. I don't see any sticky nectaries, maybe a couple of them still. So that's nice. I mean, you don't need to remove them by any stretch of imagination, but I'm just like looking what I cleaned and what I didn't. Can you see that? There is like a ridiculous moss pole there. I really didn't do much of trellising here. And then there is a rock keeping him stable. So I think I'm gonna water him now and clean the pot too. The pot is also filthy. Uh-oh. Oh crap. I squished one of the aerial roots. I'm gonna fill out my watering can and water him, and we'll see about adding some fresh soil with fertilizer on top. Like a really good thing now would be to remove some of this mix and give him fresh one, but I'm just not really sure how we're gonna do that. This is like one of the techniques. If your plant is too big for a repot, what you can do is remove the top layer and give them a new top layer. But my mix does not have any worm castings. We're just gonna add some fresher mix. It's a little bit dry, this mix too. And I'm gonna incorporate some slow release fertilizer, but I'm going to also fertilize it when I water because I'm not afraid of over fertilizing. I barely even fertilize this plant anyway. We're not gonna add all of this slow release, obviously, but I'm just gonna sprinkle some. And because it's warm and it's under a light, I'm not afraid that, you know, because of winter, we can't fertilize. I actually think maybe we could have done some worm castings, but maybe in spring. Right now, I'm just adding some fresh potting mix to the top. So this is cocoa husk, cocoa peat, perlite. So there's really nothing nutritional there. But also like fertilizing it is important. Fertilizing is important, but if you don't have good conditions, good light, fertilizing ain't gonna help you. Like the founding bricks, like with a house, this is what my friend Annabelle used to say. Light is the foundation, obviously, like good, not just light, but like good conditions, which I guess I'm failing a little bit here with watering, but okay. That's the foundation. And then comes fertilizing. I also have one more fertilizer, which I'm not really sure where it went. So here's my water, and the water is gonna run through, which actually I'm gonna take him out of this and put him in a bucket. And we are gonna leave him soak up that water a little bit, if I can get out even. And I'm gonna take a short break after this to prepare more potting mix for the other one. This fertilizer is a little bit damp. These powder fertilizers, it's basically like when you expose sugar to moisture or salt. So we're just gonna add a couple of small spoons here. I believe, if I remember the dose correctly, 1 spoon was for 2 liters. I have 4. So, and let's pray this goes well. This pot is not very big anymore, but it has holes on the sides because that's where I put them. Actually, I can clean this off in the shower. So I'm gonna move him here so he doesn't fall. And I'm gonna move you. Hopefully you see some of that. So let's water him. I'm gonna go a little bit slow here to give the potting mix some time to soak it up. But yeah, these pots, they need all this water. Is the water warm? Yeah, it's room temp. Here comes the drainage from the side. I do wonder what the roots look like on this plant. Okay, so we're gonna let him soak a little bit there because this hasn't been watered in a while, but I don't think we have any dry rot, but just like for that cocoa husk to hydrate and for that cocoa peat to hydrate. So I think it's become a little bit hydrophobic, so he needs a good drink, I feel. And we're gonna let him sit here for a moment, and then I guess to another vessel so it can drain, and then we're gonna repot the other one. Okie dokie, we are back here. I made a fresh batch of potting mix for aeroids, which is off camera, and some ginger tea. So now we're going to repot that Thamaraphyllum / Philodendron. I think it's a Philodendron again, but I'm just gonna keep referring it with both names. So here's the pot in which it will go. So this is the inner pot and it goes in that very big copper pot. I drilled holes on the side here, so it makes a small reservoir. There are no holes in the bottom, just on the side, both sides. And I put some leca on the bottom so they essentially can make a draining layer. When I water, I want some water to still be there to kind of act a little bit like self-watering, because we just noticed I don't really water these plants all that frequently. And then here's the plant. This pot already cracked and there's all sorts of stuff here. So we're just not going to attempt to preserve the pot. And then we're going to clean the plant once we unpot it, once we repot it. And I also need to find my scissors to take care of some of the dry roots here. I don't know what I'm gonna find here. This has never been repotted. This used to be one small plant in the pot. There is a snail shell, but the snail has left. Great. Should not have brought that in, just willy-nilly, but okay. So I'm going to remove it. Oh. Actually, that went much easier out than I imagined. I think I need to move you down a little bit so you can see what I'm doing better. Or actually, I can lift, I forgot I have the repotting desk or table. So we can elevate the entire situation somehow. One more thing I would like to do is water the tents and the cabinet. This is garden soil, but like really the dirt from the garden in this Thematophilum. This was gifted to me by my friend. Her grandmother grew this, and it was gifted to me many, many years ago. It was a rescue from one of their plants, and it did relatively well. I don't expect to see a big root system because this is a heavy, heavy, heavy soil. It is literally soil, so I don't expect to see many roots, and maybe that pot is a little bit too big. We'll see how it goes. I think I will still leave it in the pot because the mix that I'm going to put it in is pretty good, so it's not going to rot. But this is a little bit difficult to remove. It has to come out in chunks. So we'll see. There's some rocks there too. And this plant has lived through such neglect. You wouldn't believe what neglect. It overwinters usually until recently. Obviously now it's back in the room, but I never used to return it in the room. I would put it in the summer kitchen, which is a unheated space, because that's where I had room, and it would overwinter there with no additional light, and it would lose a lot of the leaves, almost all of the leaves each winter, and then every year in summer it would grow a lot of new leaves. So it hasn't, we haven't been treating it the best, I will admit. Oh, did I break something? Well, whatever I broke, it's probably not a fresh root anyway, so we're not going to stress too much about that. But now I decided to give it a better life. This is really, really, really dense. This is the potting mix. This is the garden soil that a lot of people grow their plants in here. The older growers, the old ladies, they just go out in the yard and they grab whatever they have in the yard and they use that. And honestly, I mean, some of the plants that you see with these people, they're massive. So can't really say they're wrong to do it. I mean, clearly they know something that we don't. But I'm gonna give it a better mix, or what we typically would now view as a better mix. And then we'll see how much we can get him to size up. Not that we really should be sizing up anyone at this point, but why the heck not? I think it's gonna enjoy it. It's gonna get like fertilizer, but I'm just gonna try to remove as much of these dead roots as possible. There are quite a lot of them. And this is actually a plant that my sister used to have. My sister is not someone who likes to share things. So I remember growing up as a kid, she had the same plant and it always had like 3 leaves. And as soon as the 4th one starts to grow, one of them dies back. And her plant was like 20 years old and it had like small 2 leaves, 3 leaves. And I don't know, I always admired it because you couldn't really find this plant. That's the thing, like, I don't know about the other countries, but like here in Serbia, this is not something you would commonly see in a garden center because I guess airways were not popular. So, in the 2000s, you really couldn't find it anywhere. But now, of course, you can find it everywhere. It's easy to find. So this is like something, I mean, this is not for my sister. That one eventually died. I tried to save it and I kind of did, but then I can't remember. I think I left it outside for too long and then it essentially died. Oopsie. So as we can see, with heavy potting mixes, you don't really get that huge of a root system, and a lot of these are dead. So we're gonna trim some of those dead roots and then pot it in a mix of cocoa husk, cocoa peat, perlite, lesser quality bark than I would do for Hoyas, honestly, because it's much cheaper. For these big pots, we need to be economical. And then I have some other aeroids that I need to repot that are now in the summer kitchen, and they will be overwintering inside this year because I'm no longer a monster. We are not in that phase anymore. So I'm just cutting all the dry aerials. They're not going to come back, obviously. So I'm cutting those off to make it pretty. I'm gonna leave the stump. There is like a stump here, and I don't think there is life in it. It doesn't feel very hard. And the stump itself, I don't see that it really contributes to the roots, but I'm going to leave it for now. Maybe something grows out of it. The top definitely feels soft, but not mushy, but just like kind of dry. But the bottom doesn't feel that soft, so I'm going to leave it. And of course, all the aerial roots that we can, I'm going to put in the pot. So we're going to make sure this plant is really well rooted. I love when I see these Thymothophilums, aka Philodendrons, and they get super big. And like, then they have these roots going from the top, and the stem gets so interesting on these. I really like the trunk that they make. My goodness, it's actually pushing out a new bud here. I mean, a growth point here on the side. So, unfortunately, what I wanted to do with this plant, when it had that small plant growing on the side, I was hoping to give my friend a propagation because this plant did belong to her grandmother and to her mother at one point. You saw my friend Diana, that's who this plant, or whose mother slash grandmother this plant belonged to. And I remember seeing, I think this is the same plant that I saw once at Diana's mom, and at that point it was huge, which I actually think it's this part. And then I think her mom essentially killed it, but not completely, because I think this is actually a rescue. So I should have treated it a little bit better. But, you know, you get a lot of plants, and that's the same time frame when I started to sell a lot of plants too. I was importing philodendrons, aeroids from EU. Me and my friend were selling them, so I just didn't have time for something like this. But it's arrived, you know. It could have been much bigger, but, you know, it's alive. Maybe it didn't have the best life, but it had a life. And it still has. So we're not going to go too hard on ourselves. It's important to, at one point, dedicate time to your plant. And, you know, don't feel bad that you didn't before, I guess. Tips at Basie plants. Let's just remove that. Okay, I'm not going to go too wild on removing all these dead roots. I mean, just what I can see, essentially. But I think that's that. So there are not so many secondary finer roots, but it will be actually interesting in summer or spring to take this out of the pot and see how it's doing. I don't have such a big clear pot. It would be nice if that was a clear pot and we can just see the improvement, but I bet you that by summer this is going to have an amazing root system. Because if one thing I can do well is grow the roots. Okay, so let's do this pot. Get that root inside. It's actually not even that big, to be honest. And make sure that that goes in. Okay, so that's what we're doing here. There's a lot of dust. And now I have my aeroid mix, which, let's just quickly see, I don't see much, do you? Anyway, it's just a standard aeroid mix. Everyone knows, I think, by this time how to make one. here you go, a treat for you. I think I'm gonna spend all of this, or most of this. Should actually move everything so it's closer. It's actually not even that terrible, the bark that I put in here, but it's definitely not the same bark from Ecuagenera that I use for my Hoyas, because that one would be just very expensive to make the mixes for these big pots. So I might need to make more mix for my other aeroids, which I may or may not repot in this video. Potting mix is going everywhere. Oof. After this, we will need to take another brief moment to kind of clean a bit and then get ready to water. I don't remember what was the depth, but something like this. Obviously, it's not going to be super centered, but I'm gonna try. I mean, it's fine if it doesn't look perfect in the pot. Let's imagine it was watered, so it would look something like this, maybe. I think that's gonna end up looking good. My goodness, that's a lot of mix that went into this. I did not expect to use up so much. I was like, I'm gonna use less. Let's add at this point slow release. And this one I'm actually gonna water lighter than the previous one, because previous one was really dry, but this cocoa peat is a bit damp, so we're not gonna go super crazy with watering, but we will still water, of course. And I didn't cut into any healthy roots, so there's no fear of any fungal issues, etc. So slow release to enrich this. I don't know how heavy feeders tomatophyllums are, but this plant in summer, unfortunately I didn't put it out back in the yard, but at one point it was growing like, I swear, a leaf a week. Maybe not a leaf a week, but in like, you know, every 2 weeks there was a new leaf. I really, if I left it outside, I think it would have been massive. Or it would have died because it was so hot, no one knows. But it seems to me they really love the warmth, which is true for a lot of aeroids actually, but not for verrucosum and for a lot of anthuriums. They don't necessarily love the warmth. I don't know, should I leave it like this? You can't tell. It is a little bit crooked. But I'm looking at the growth point, you know, and I'm looking at the trunk. It might be interesting to actually have a rock here, but not this rock, because I need this rock for... Yeah, I'm gonna see if I have something in the garden to kind of make him go this way, but I don't want to pull. It actually would be kind of nice to have this grow over a rock, if you know what I mean. I don't know. Do you have a vision in your head of what I'm trying to say? But like having a rock and then the roots wrap the rock and maybe like this trunk leaning on the side of the rock. I don't know. I think that could be like a really nice look. I think this is enough of the potting mix. Oh my gosh, this potting mix looks so good now. So fresh, even compared to the one for atabapoense. I really wish. Maybe I will, at some point in the winter, if I have my friends over, maybe they can help me pot that atabapoense and give them a fresh mix. We'll see. Because this would be really, really good if we could change the mix on that plant. I can't do it alone. That plant will snap. Will snap for sure if I do it alone. So I'm just not going to. Okay, this is looking pretty good. I like it. What we can do now is clean those leaves off and just trim some of these parts. Let me see what's the best way to position this. Maybe like that. Trim some of those parts that are a little bit dry. I actually wanted to keep this as a hanging plant. I don't know what happened to that plan. I think it would look really cool as a hanging plant. I swear I saw someone do that and I was like, that's a great idea for it. I would love this variegated to be quite frank with you. Let's wash those leaves a bit. The water has gone cold now, but it'll do. And I think later I can shower him, but like, let's get the dust off if we can. These leaves are a little bit more sensitive to ripping. So if I find it too difficult, I'm just not gonna do it. Which is how you should approach to all things in life. If it's too difficult, don't do it. I love how inspirational sometimes I can be. I did suspect that mites might have come from this plant that spread to my Hoyas, but I don't see a lot of mite or any mite damage. So maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. It's growing slower inside because it's under that atabapoense. It's definitely not getting the premium light. So like, as I said, I will try to give him good conditions, but it cannot get better light than that, unfortunately. That's the best we can give him. But it's fine. We haven't seen a new leaf in a while, but then again, I haven't watered it in a while, so maybe now it will pop off. I actually, out of all the aeroids that I had, and I had a lot, what impresses me the most when I see big, like I like a big gloriosum, I like a big verrucosum, big, rarely, haven't seen that, even though mine was kind of biggish, but riddled with mites. I had a big splendid that really sizes up fast, and glorious too, was quite big. El Choco Red was impressive, I will give it that. That ended up at my friend and then it kind of croaked, unfortunately, but honestly I couldn't grow it anymore. So I gave it to her and we were hoping that it could live, but it was just too much used to these conditions. So it croaked, leaf by leaf, mite by mite. And anyway, what impresses me the most when I see some of these more common plants. When I see this, but like giant, I don't know, I like it more than a big splendid, than a big melanochrysum. Even like big melanochrysum is nice. But I don't know, this plant, I actually really love seeing these when they're big, especially like not necessarily nursery grown, but like people who grew them at home and you can see that it was grown in like slightly than less ideal conditions and it kind of grows a weird. Like it's impressive to me always when I see these big. And not because they're difficult to grow, but I don't know. Something about them, like even this leaf, oh, look how good that looks. I don't know. I think like we have gone with plants to this very rare side, you know, rare Hoyas, rare anthuriums, etc. But even now when I see a huge carnosa that is taking over a wall, I'm like, I want it. I love it. And it impresses me more than when I see some of my big Hoyas. I don't know. Are you like that too? Is this just me? I still love to see like regular Monstera, green, deliciosa, big. And I'm not saying that I don't love Thai. I love Thai constellation. I love to see that big, but I don't know. I liked my skeleton when it was big, and I still like my skeleton. I need to bring it in. It's in the summer kitchen. It needs a repot. It hasn't grown that much in height, but it did grow several leaves in width. It had thrips at one point, got burned outside, etc. But it's doing okay. It's nothing to worry about, to be honest. Where was I in my story? I don't know. It just impresses me to see these more regular plants big. And it's more realistic too, like big melanochrysum. Good luck. Good luck. These are just far more resilient. And they're not finicky, and you cannot water them for a month, and they're gonna do well. Not to say I don't like rare plants. Obviously I do. Or uncommon, or variegated, etc. I do. But this, actually, you know, from a standpoint of someone who finished architecture and was the top of the class with my friend Dana, and we did have interior design, these green plants fit much better in the interior design than variegated ones. Like a variegated monstera can look nice, but some of them can look very tacky. Some of them can look very tacky, sorry, especially like yellow variegated ones. These just look much nicer if you're going for that minimal vibe or like jungly vibe, I don't know. The green, dark green, oh my gosh. When you have a lot of plants, then variegation is nice, and like lighter green is nice, or deep red, but I think when you're just having one statement plant, I prefer personally, because everything in design is personal preference, I prefer personally when I see plants with just like lush, deep green leaves. Stop. Oof. Wow, I'm spraying myself here. So anyway, I don't know how we got to interior design. At one point I was going to start a second channel to talk about interior design and to talk about architecture, but I don't think we're going to do that on the second channel. Having said all of that, I would love to have this variegated still. When I look at these leaves, they're so pretty. I just really love this shape. See, she's almost looking great again. It's also interesting, this plant seems to be, even though it's the same species, this particular one seems to be much more resilient than what my sister had. That one just never wanted to recover. This one is much easier. I'm not really sure why that is, and she even gave it better light than I ever gave this one. I don't really know why that is like that. I do think a lot of these are also propagated by seeds. I see seeds in plant catalogs here from this particular philodendron / tomatophyllum quite frequently. So maybe that's why. Maybe some of these are better, stronger plants than others, because there's a lot of variants of this plant that's being sold now or something similar. I don't even know. Like, I see so many similar philodendrons that have this leaf shape, which is absolutely gorgeous. Like, I love it. I love this so much. So we're done here. Anyway, what I was saying, I see so many of them and I think it's just the same, but they do look different than this. I'm going to now water this, and we need to clean behind that. And then we're gonna be finishing up with that section. My hands are a little bit dirty, but I can still drink tea. You don't see much, do you? That is perfect. Okay, when I water it, it's gonna look good. But also, like, can you believe this hasn't been watered in a month? Like, I don't think this is necessarily droopy. It just kind of firmly sits there. I think this is like the funky shape this decided to grow in. It's actually quite beautiful. I think if I had space, this would make for a good statement plant in my collection, like a stand-alone plant. Really need to downsize. I have so many plants that can be like a nice stand-alone statement pieces, you know? But they're just lost in the collection. And I have so many plants that I just don't like my Basie. I still hate it. I hate that plant. Whoever put that out should be ashamed of themselves. I don't know who Bob is, but he doesn't deserve a C, he deserves an F. So, Bob F. Welcome to day 2 in a very dangerous and unflattering angle because we have the light here. I am on a ladder on a step stool and I need to put a light above my MILSBO cabinet here. For these plants here I have my Thigh constellation, which I have no idea if you can see here. And then my Florida ugly, not beauty. She ain't beautiful. She needs some care. So I need to put a light here, which is probably gonna be too strong because it's 100-watt grow light. So I am slightly reconsidering this, and it's not dimmable either, but I don't have any other light that I can put up here. It's one of the Mars Hydro grow lights that I have, but non-dimmable ones. So what I will do is try not to fall, number one. Number two, there are some hooks. I used to have hanging plants here, so I'm gonna use chain because I don't have anything else. I don't want to drill 2 hooks here because it will be so dusty, and I already have too many things to clean anyway, so we don't need another thing. So I'll use the hooks from this light and this light to kind of hang chain, and then off of that chain I will hang the light. So we shall see how this goes, how this looks. I am a little bit worried now. Somehow I thought this is going to be much further away. I thought there is more space, so the 100-watt light is going to be fine. But now that I look at it, I think it's going to be way too much. It's going to be okay for this lacunosa here, but for the monstera, yeah, it's going to be too much. Anyway, we will see about that. And the chain is gonna be horror movie vibes because this chain is super long. This light is also like, can I turn this off? Oh, bad idea, bad idea, bad idea. Let's try to turn this off. The light is on 50, by the way. Maybe what I can do is put this light over there. But that's work. That's work. I could potentially put this light here because it's dimmable, and then put the non-dimmable light here. How do we feel about that? Because 100 watts is going to be okay here in this space. A little bit too close for these. Let's see. I think we should do that. I think that's like our best case scenario, so let me just unplug that. We are obviously not thinking this through. Oh my gosh, this is so filthy. Ooh, that's dusty. I hope I don't fall and like hang myself on this chain. That would be, I mean, content, sure, but... Well, okay. This other light I want to put there. The cable might be too short. You know, we're crossing that bridge when we get to it in 5 minutes. I have a plug here too, but that turns on at night because it's for one of the tents. Why are cables always so short? Like, why are we saving on cables? Can someone explain to me? Actually, I think this is going to reach the other end. Now, let's see how this will go. Okay. This honestly may be one of the worst ideas I had thus far when it comes to hanging things. Oh, what was that? That was the cable. Okay. Danger. Can we see? Oh, shh. Stop it. I'm struggling to find the cutting scissors. Bad idea, Miro. Bad idea. You're filled with them. This light is actually very light. It's not very heavy. I reduced the weight of this light. It had a dimmer on it, but you can remove the dimmer. And not just the dimmer, it had like the power box thingy that's actually very heavy. Power supply, I guess is the word. And I removed the power supply so it's not hanging on the light. And you can totally do that. That's why they made it removable. I'm a little bit confused, so let me just figure this out, how I can hang this. I'm just gonna wing this, to be quite frank with you. Don't try this at home. Did I say that already? Don't try anything that I do at home. We're not okay here. Yeah, we're gonna need to dim this light here for sure, because this is the highest that I can hang it. We will need to dim the light even further, so I'm glad that I did this. This is a good idea. I mean, hanging this is not a good idea, but like changing the lights is a good idea. It's a great idea. One of the best we've had. I hang the light the wrong way around. Oh, Miro. I'm a little bit annoyed because you can see it's crooked a bit, but I'm not really sure how to fix that. Whatever, I'm just gonna leave it. It's a little bit under the angle, which we can't really do anything about that. I want to try this setup out, so let me get the power supply, which is on the other side. Oh! We're gonna fall by the end of this. We're gonna fall. This is a tight space. Whoops. Oopsie daisy. See what I'm talking about? This is the heavy part of the light. I'm going to, I guess, hang it on the pegboard. Actually, potentially I could hang it on one of the hooks behind. Let's see. Don't fall. So far it's looking good. Okay, works. Excellent. That's gonna be way too close for some of these plants. I wanted to put a taller plant there too, which I really misjudged the space. Now let's try to plug this one in. Ow. Which goes over here. Okay. That is good. Ta-da! Ta-da! Everyone has light. A little bit too much maybe, but everyone has light. That's a necessary upgrade. I don't know why I was postponing that. And you know, all the plants in the corner are gonna get a bit more light. So all of that is great. This might be too much for something that's up here, but we're gonna work on it. We're gonna work on it. Let's check what you will be able to see. You kind of see me. Yeah. Anyway, we have to water the MILSBO cabinet, which is behind me. Actually, this is a pretty bad idea. You will not be able to see much, but we need to water that. And in order to do that, I think I need to move my lock key, which is blooming now, which needs to be watered as well, and checked for mealybugs. So this is my big Hoya lock key. I need to take some photos of the flower. I don't have the best photos of the flower, but I'm gonna move it aside because I need to open the cabinet, and in order to do that, I need to move the plant. So we will do that. I don't see any mealybugs on that one. I do see a mealybug on this multiflora, which is really annoying because you don't see this multiflora, but that's not why it's annoying. It's annoying because this multiflora was treated with a systemic for mealybugs and they persist, which is not something that I am into. But yeah, we'll clean her off, I guess, one more time. And then I will try essentially what we have here as the equivalent, which is not really equivalent, but kind of like Azamax, which I mentioned in a video that you didn't see. We sort of have like a Azamax substitution. Oh, something moved. Okay. I'm tripping that I have animals that are not supposed to be here. I don't know why I'm tripping. I always think that I will see like a mouse inside, even though there's no reason for that. Never had a mouse in the house. This also recovered quite significantly. This lost all the leaves. this multiflora variegated because of mites, and it did recover. I'm thinking about cutting it back a little bit, actually, to see, but also I kind of like this look. It's weird. I know it's weird. I understand. I understand she is weird, but I'm thinking maybe we can get, or maybe we should just leave her. Honestly, if this was like straighter, maybe it would be even more interesting, but it kind of fits within the collection well. Yeah, we struggled a bit with her there. We struggled a bit. Let's now water the cabinet, which I really wish I could put you somewhere other than where you are. I need to check this Lacunosa. Again, I cleaned her off for mealybugs recently. So we need to do another inspection because she seems to be struggling still. The plant is not struggling, but like the mealybugs keep appearing, and I found one here, which is not making me happy at all. So we need to do that. There are some mealybugs on the bottom level of this cabinet. These Hoyas also need a treatment. I will water this and look at the plants, inspect them at the same time. I'm gonna try to move you. Like, I don't know. Maybe you will be able to see something, maybe not. Some of them are a little bit drier than they're supposed to be, so we need to take care of that and make sure. I need to spray some of these for mites as well. Wow, when you manage to dry it revoluta like I did, you really know you have talent, because that's a Hoya that can take a lot of underwatering, but here we are. Here we are. I'm going to add some fertilizer. It's been a while since I fertilized my Hoya. They really need it at this point. It's probably not the best idea to fertilize plants that are so dry, but you know. Most of these are gonna get a repot too. I just need to get more pots from Temu. The small ones that you saw, and then they're also going to be trellised. I'm also probably going to knock my epicenias. Let's try to move you here. Oh, that's a little bit too much water. I probably should have mixed the water a little bit. Oh no. Oh, we might lose that plant. Okay, well, some issues with the Colina there, which is not a Colina, as I recently found out. I'm not going to sulfur these plants today because they are dry. We are going to wait with sulfur treatment, because spraying plants with oil or anything when they're very dry is not a good idea. Once again, apologies for the angle. There's just no better angle here. I'm sorry. This is a very narrow space, so we do with what we have. I will take these out most likely tomorrow if I have time. Today I think we don't have much time. Oh, this doesn't have a tray. So I'll water this outside the cabinet as these, because they don't have a tray. Oh, they don't have a tray. Shut up! They don't have a tray, so I will water them outside of the cabinet. I need to find a cover pot for these. Where was I with my story? Does this also not have a tray? Nope. It does not indeed. Yeah, you really shouldn't treat plants that are severely dehydrated. Why do so many of these don't have any sort of a tray? Is the question that I have for myself. Let's move down a little bit more. Once again, no tray. What are we doing? I need to inspect these. These may have mealybugs still. Honestly, I would be surprised if they don't have any, because I haven't done much except that one initial treatment where I removed them with a cotton swab. I didn't do anything else. They need another inspection and potentially another treatment with alcohol, which we will do with a cotton swab. This was so easy to water. Why didn't I do this sooner? It literally took me no time. Okay, let's just check to see if there are any mealybugs. Just gonna take a look here very quickly. Interestingly, I don't seem to see any mealybug. What? Where have they gone? These were not even treated with systemic, and they surely had some mealybug. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't miss them, but I'm just wondering how come they went. Because they're definitely staying on some of the other plants that I've treated. They seem to be genuinely be gone. Well, they're not missed. Oh my gosh, if I actually got them under control on these Hoyas, I'm gonna be so happy. I don't see any. So that's good. I'm going to water these that don't have the tray, and then we're gonna water the tent. I also need to water my Gesneriads here. I have something very exciting. One of these that is something that I really love is going to bloom. It's Alsobia dianthiflora. And let me just get it out. It has such cute leaves, slightly underwatered, but not terribly. No, not my face. Not my face, babes. The plant. Look how cute that is. And right here, once again, not my face. That's where the flower is going to be. I really like it. I'm so happy that it's gonna bloom. They haven't been blooming. I don't know if they need a little bit more light. These are 2 9-watt lights. They're pretty close. This one has been blooming repeatedly, so that's nice. But all the others are not really blooming. And there's some that I really, really want. This is Ashkenanthus here, is pink, a Thai pink, and I really, really want that one to bloom. And I also really, really want him not to touch my Passiflora, which has mealybugs. Stop it. Stop mingling. They do need a lot of water though. I have to water them a couple of times a week. The pots are small. These could be self-watering pots, but I didn't put any wick. There is like a reservoir. So I will most likely have to do that at one point because it's a bit too much watering several times a week. However, these also have the original soil, so they need to be watered with imidacloprid. They have the soil from that lady that I got mealybug from, root mealybug from, and either Azamax or like some sort of a drench will be necessary. And then hopefully, you know, I mean, I could probably take out all the plants and remove that soil, which I might do, and hopefully not discover plethora of root mealybug. But some of these are very sensitive. Some of them I already messed up by spraying them for thrips. Gesneriads don't love to be sprayed. They can be sprayed if you use water that is above room temp, which I did, and it's not supposed to do any harm, but it did, unfortunately. So the hack is not hacking how to spray your Gesneriads. Let me just show you one that was very adorable. Now it's slightly less adorable. It's this Columna columbiana. She was very adorable. Slightly less now. Let me just, I don't see anything bad there. This other one is also cute. This is a type of Columna lava flow. Has some interesting leaves there. Again. I think the underside is really nice on this one. They have like an interesting underside. Can we see that? Not really. But they may be a little bit more difficult than your Hoya. Also, there is some mold growing on top of this one, which is probably meaning there's not enough light actually there towards the bottom. Let me just check. I don't see any mealy bugs. They all seem to be doing okay-ish. Would like to see a little bit better growth, a little bit more flowers. That's why I got them. So they can be blooming queens. Oh my gosh, this one is going to bloom too. Yep, that one has a bud. This one is actually growing quite decently. Also has very interesting underside. Please ignore the cobwebs. This is Codonanthus vista. It's a cross with Nemathanthus and Codonanthe. So Codonanthus vista. I forgot what the flowers look on that one like. This one is also very beautiful. This one I cannot wait to bloom. The plant itself is not beautiful. I mean, the leaves are just okay. But this is something that I even didn't know existed. So if it could bloom, I would be so happy. This kind of grows in rocks from what I read. This is Lysionotus possiflorus. So I don't know. This one was very small when I got it. And I think it likes to be cooler, maybe. I know it likes to be humid. But it would be kind of cool to see it bloom. It's a little bit sticky though. Please don't find a mealybug, Miro. Please don't find a mealybug. So that's exciting to see. This is also one that I think I'm looking forward. No, this is not. This is another columna. Quite interesting. Columna Shideana. Interesting growth pattern, don't you think so? I don't know. I kind of like it. I kind of like it. They're all very soft, very, very nice. So we shall see. There is one that here that I really want, has big white flower, but I can't remember which one it is of these. But I will talk about these in a different video once they have established a little bit more and started to bloom a little bit more. They are going to be a nice addition. Epicenias down here are recovering. I do need to take a look at some of them because, once again, same lady. I did repot those, but they need to be checked. I'm just gonna show you a couple while we are here. Oh, I forgot to water that Ceropegia. Oops. Stay in a corner and I forget you. Let me see if I can open these. You cannot even see the terrarium. Here it is. I love this plant. I know this isn't, you don't have to grow this in a terrarium, but I'm loving it in a terrarium. I do need to clean everything because this has stayed in the original mix. This is the Dioscora discolor. Like, look at those leaves. I don't know, do I take it out? Do I take it out and put it in my Ratsta? I initially wanted to put this on my wall and kind of let it grow, but I think it's actually loving the higher humidity. It's looking so good. I mean, I know this is like not a Hoya, obviously, I'm not Dom, but this has more beautiful leaves than any Hoya. Like, I'm gonna be real with you. I like these leaves than any Hoya leaves. I'm just gonna be real. Like, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Just better. It's better. We can love Hoyas. I love them too, but we may not be Delulu. Amber Lace is also looking a little bit better, but it's not supposed to be so pink. It's supposed to be green with pink. This is now either green or pink. It's supposed to have deep green and then some pink variegation, but it's growing. They're really loving the terrarium. The humidity stays at 95 in there, so they are recovering. And I didn't show you this one, or maybe I did, I don't know. This is one of the newer ones, so it needs to be repotted. This one broken shipping. It's Pink Dream. This is my favorite pink Epicea. I mean, gorgeous. It was also the most expensive of them. This little guy, $30. Can't believe I spent $30 in an Epicea, but here we are. Here we are. So let's put all of this back and hope for more growth. So we will take care of that eventually. Make sure there are no root mealybugs here. And I cannot wait for all of this to be filled out with these episthias. I'm loving it. Okay, I need to water some plants off camera. You don't see me, I think. Ooh, I'm looking yellow. Then we need to water the tent, but I'm probably gonna wait for like the night time to do that, to be quite honest, because I need to move some stuff around now when I water. So it's probably gonna be like in several hours. I'm gonna record it. Don't you worry. But I moved a lot of plants now and I need to like put stuff back so I can actually move around the room. And then I need to do some driving tests to study a bit. I have not studied yesterday or on Friday. So that's the plan. And I did want to do a couple of more things. I wanted to talk about my Medinellifolia. She's experiencing some issues. Let me do this quickly. I don't know why this is happening. I'm wondering if she has mites, but she is starting to lose some of the leaves. Even though she's still massive, you can see this is yellow. And this too. And this one has lost a couple of leaves. Maybe it's the age, because this vine hasn't lost anything, but I'm gonna treat this with sulfur. Even though she did get abamectin, I'm gonna do sulfur now. Because, yeah, I don't wanna lose this plant. I cannot put it back into the tent either. She's just way too big. Okay, I almost fell down there. And now I knocked over the plants. Okay, see, things are happening here, which mean that it's time to finish this portion of the video. And then Amrita also dropping the leaves. So we need to diagnose this. I don't know why. Amrita, you know, she grows, but I would say she merely survives. I don't know what that's what's happening with her. I might need to restart her, but we're not going to do that today. We're going to let her grow for now. And I have another one as well, different clone. This is the frogfoot clone. I have water now spreading across my floor because I spilt it. So I need to make sure I don't flood the house. And I will see you in a couple of hours to wrap up with some watering. That watering is kind of going to conclude the weekend vlog, which I hope that you enjoyed. It was very enjoyable actually to kind of go through my collection and show you around a bit and be a bit more relaxed, you know, a little bit less of the I mean, there was still chaos, but a little bit less of the, you know, showing you the ugliest plants. Like, I do have pretty plants in my collection. Like, there are pretty plants. I only show you the ugly ones. We only focus on those because, like, those are the ones that need work, but there are a lot of pretty plants. Anyway, I'm gonna kind of sign off here and then I'll leave you with some montage of me watering the plants in the tent. You can stick around to watch that because you will see some plants that are looking nice and you will see what the tent is currently looking like. We are going to tackle that tent soon. I also did want to bring in some Hoyas from the summer kitchen, but I simply don't have time. It's like, I don't know. It's kind of looking pretty dark outside. What time is it? Hey Siri! It's 4:30. It's 4:30 and it's so dark outside. I don't know how...
I can't help you. I can't help you with that.
I know. I know you can't help me with that. No one can help me with that. Except Earth and the rotation, like the seasons, whatever. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, what I was going on about is it is getting darker so much sooner. It's been dark for like half an hour now or 45 minutes. Here it gets dark around 3:30 in winter. Not, maybe a little bit later now, 15, 20 minutes later now. So just a bit before 4. But in winter it will get like 3:15, 3:20 dark. So that's a little bit not depressing, but you know, I always look at the clock and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's only like 4, 5. Like, when will this day be over? It's been dark for hours. So yeah, that's making it a little bit more difficult with the planned chores because I always think like, oh, it's time to go to bed soon, but it's actually not. There's like many, many more hours of the day. But in a way, it's also kind of cozy. I don't know. I noticed in my last video, people said that my videos cheer them up because they are going through the seasonal depression right now. So I appreciate that really much. Thank you. I mean, I'm sorry that you're going through seasonal depression, but like, I'm glad that videos are cheering you up and helping you out with that. Anyway, clearly it was time to shut up a long time ago because now I'm basically saying good that you're going through seasonal depression because like they're the videos. No, I'm not. That's not what I mean at all. Anyway, zip it. Someone needs to just, Ursula, call Ursula. I need to be not speaking. I will see you in the next video. Have a wonderful week and let me know in the comment below what are the chores that you did. And yeah, that's all. And enjoy the footage of me watering the crotons. Now bye. See you. Cute. Bye. I would like to take some time to thank all of my patrons for their amazing support. A massive shout out to my $5 patrons. My 2 anonymous patrons, Alex von Siebenthal, Amber Clear, Anne Margaret Moon, Angela Bernard, Angela Parrish, Anna P. and C. Anochka K, Aspen Drake, Betsy, Binge Me, Connie Pagano, Daniela, Danube Daniels, Daria Kaminska, Deborah Violet, Deanne Sikorsky, Ethan W, Erin Keenan, Eleni Saxon, Ellen Emmy, Farah, Ferdis Verdance, Gathering Moss, Gina Geisa, Gina Radovic, Go Green Tropical, Gross It's Kyle, Growing Nurse, Heather Uppencamp, Hoji Scott, HoyaCuttings.com, Yana Griffin, Jessica Chio, Jonas Barry, Hjorth Larson, Joshua Davis Riley, Jovan Denot, Kara, Catherine P, Casey Gross, Kelly Gallagher, Kelso, Kimberly Polka, Kiwi Mochi, Christy Ehrlich, Al Lindbergh, Lee Mooney, Lisa Mary MPLS, Lucas Yarchevsky, Mandy Milliken, Marcel Har, Maria Stein, Marina Yarmolich, Mars B, Marty Miller, Mary Rose, Melissa Walker, Michelle Heron, Nicole Ferranti, Mirka Grun-Roos, MJW, Moa Edmond, Nelly Yang, Niha Basu, Nicole Moreau, Nina Nguyen, Nita Macy, Odette, PJ, Plandrit, Syke Zera, Rachel Peterson, Rebecca C, Sandra Cornelius, Sharon Bone, Sherry Kumar, Sophia Ryan, Stephanie H2O, MILSBO, Tessa Martins, Thomas Marsden, Tia B, Trista Bailey, Tristan Thomas, Wendy Rossman, Xenia Green, Youth of the Volumut, Zaira Rivera, Zordarama, and Zlakom Niponi. A big thank you to my $3 patrons, Angelina Farnan, Karen Kilon Constance, Daryl De Rosario, Eden Corlett, Yana, KPZ, Lindsay N, Mary H, Monica Vikers, Nella, Nerdy Kathy, Renee Church, Ringlov, Sheila Casper, Tangwa Tanasria Cool, VH, and Wendy Foreman. And thank you to my $1 patrons, one anonymous patron, Alice Borland, Andrew G, Aquila, Brandon Pacheco, Catherine Molina, Couture Helvetica, Emilia Bronson, Jolie Sullivan, Kayla Vavra, Kelly Ash, Chris Perez, Lauren Tugboat Plants, Lori Ann Subramaniam, Luzmin Fernandez, Marga FV, Mary Diamond, Neely Spicer, Olivia Chinmuller, Pacific Plant Lady, and Tracy the Eyebuller.